Peace. My name is Cory Green. I'm a formerly incarcerated citizen. Said differently, I'm a professional with prison experience. I'm also a first-year student in the Critical Social Personality Psychology program at the Graduate Center of CUNY. And I come to this conversation really to kind of like frame what we call it now the prison to college pipeline. And this pipeline is mostly accessible for people who experience the school to prison pipeline, being pushed out of school, being suspended from school at enormous rates that lead to them getting kicked out of school, that later lead to them in prison, that leads to imprisonment. And then these same individuals, while they're in prison or as soon as they're leaving prison, are starting to access higher education. And through the means of accessing higher education, they're finding ways to transform themselves, their families, and their communities. So it's important that I speak to what we now calling the Ban the Box campaign and a broader access to institutions of higher learning for those individuals who are formerly incarcerated, who have been stained with the label criminal, that they get access into these institutions not only because education reduces recidivism and ups in employment for this population, but these individuals have specific and unique gifts and capacities that help enrich in the academic institution, both intellectually and civically. These institutions bring diverse perspectives, lived experiences, testimonies, and they come with a sense of, I know who I am. And when I applied to go into school, when I made that conscious decision to sign up for the application, it was not just because I wanted to get a 4.0. It's because I wanted to show my son that school is important. I wanted to show my community that I'm a leader. I wanted to give back to my family, to my community, to the society that I have taken from before. So going to school has this responsibility of that is much more that I need to do, and school becomes a means to rehabilitate themselves, but also to build society. So it's important that we understand that when colleges and admissions have questions on the application that are targeting this population, which is not race neutral, because the majority of people that's in prison who have been labeled criminals or who have any kind of offenses are people who are non-white. So these people have to face this question and these practices and these policies when enrolling for college, and also when trying to apply for jobs. So it's important that we educate students particularly, but also just the larger world around this issue. Because if we want a society where things is just, where we can start talking about equality, where we can start talking about not leaning on the government and public assistance, then we need to start talking about a society where people have equal access into the doors that lead to better health, better employment, sustainable futures. So with that being said, it's important that students get behind this Ban the Box campaign. It's important that students, family members, professors, academic administrators understand that individuals that are formerly incarcerated or people with criminal punishment histories, when they decide to apply to college, that they made a dedication to themselves, but it comes with this kind of sense of urgency that I need to do more for my community, I need to do more for my family, and that when they walk to the institutions, they're going to bring their best. And these students graduate at higher rates than their peers who don't have criminal punishment histories. Their GPAs are usually higher, and the myth that these individuals are threats to campus safety or public safety is ludicrous, because history and research has shown that college campuses are mostly done by people who are first-time offenders, not people who are formerly incarcerated or people who have prior criminal punishment histories. So once we start knowing the facts and we start understanding how education is being used to support social transformation, it's important that we open the doors. Thank you. Peace.